What's up, bro? How's it feel? Congratulations,
Good,
man. How's it feel, bro? Hey,
good.
welcome to the top 11% of
11% of Latinos, or what is
Latino,
it?
11% of
11% of Latinos have degrees.
Y'all ever use the air horn?
Oh, use it.
How are you just pulling this out? We just had
I
all these.
know, right? Could have been using all this. Use it in the second part, dude.
All right. Hey, 2H Trappers. Welcome back with your two favorite mother effers. And Steve, we're back on Thursday. You know what Thursday means? We're that much closer to Friday. Do it, Steve. We're that much closer to Friday. Hey, we got some more beer ratings, and we're going to get into what Steve is doing for the community, for his life. And we're just going to get into it. So sit back, buckle up. Let's go too hard, too fast.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Welcome to Too Hard, Too Fast.
Too hard, too fast.
Too hard, too fast.
Too hard, too fast.
Welcome to Too Hard, Too Fast podcast. Está loco.
¡Está loco! El Stevers está aquí.
It's the podcast of the century.
Está loco.
Right.
Yeah, I didn't do the whole broad in perspective thing, but you know, people get it. I messed up that intro again because you know what? It's Thursday. We're still wearing the same clothes. You know how we do when it's Thursday?
We changed back to our clothes that we wore on Tuesday.
When it's Thursday, we've been drinking a few.
That's right.
All right.
Let's get started.
All right. Worm, you got part 2. Let's do the review for your brewskis.
All right.
Oh, you know what? I think Steve got the infectious. I don't know. You didn't ask him. It's been a while. From Tuesday to Thursday, a lot of things can happen. All right, Worm, we're gonna do these quick.
All right, so this is a good way to get El Indio right here, bro. So I want to ask Steve, from a Hispanic perspective, is this offensive?
Do I hear an ice cream truck behind you?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I live in that kind of neighborhood.
Hey, you know what they're selling, right? Right here. This is what they're selling. Shoot.
What time is it? We've talked about this on the podcast before. It's 9:00. Who's buying ice cream? Who's buying ice cream at 9:00?
Hey, but no, I'm all real, dude. I love this logo. It's cool.
I like it.
It represents my people. Somos fuerte. You know what I mean? Yeah, dude. I like it. It's probably one of my favorite Mexican beers. Hecho en Mexico. You know what I mean? The only bad part is still the 4.1. It's all right. I still give it a 1.7.
1.7. You know what? I'll tell you
1.74.
1.74. I'll agree with it because for a long time that beer was not sold here in the U.S. I don't know what reason. And
it had cocaine, like Coca-Cola.
Yeah, probably. There was a lot of rumors. There was a lot of rumors of why it wasn't sold here. But I would, every time I would go to Mexico, that's the beer I would buy. Indio. You didn't get it here in the U.S. at the time. So, what did you give it? A 1.74? What did you say?
1.74, yes, sir.
Good deal.
1.74.
Good deal.
Steve, you drinking anything different?
Yeah, I'm drinking. Well, some of y'all may have not heard of this particular beer. It's actually an import. It's pronounced Tecate.
Never heard of it, bro. Is it light or is it red?
It is light. It's light. I usually like to follow, after an IPA, I like to, get my pinky up, and then I like to drink a light beer right after.
Do you put lemon in it?
No, I don't.
No.
But I hear they're good with micheladas. You should have a michelada episode.
Oh, that would be cool.
That's a good idea, bro.
I'm down.
You know what? Our next one, we're going to do it with you.
All right, give me a rating on that one. That one's a little more mainstream.
It is. Yep. It's not I wouldn't call it full body. I call it
Naked body.
a smooth body.
Ooh,
Oh,
A smooth body.
like after
I don't even know
worm,
the
after a
alcohol
little,
content
after
of
a
anything.
overnight shave, worm,
that's right.
a little.
Well, I'm always smooth, dude.
They got the light. What would you rate it?
I give it a 1.1.
I wait.
Like all over the place, Steve. All
No,
over the
no, no,
place.
no. I like to
This
have
beer
90
tastes
days.
like piss. You
90
say it
days.
tastes like piss, bro?
I didn't say that.
Would
I
you
said
rather drink piss?
after a full body IPA,
Oh my gosh.
you know, you gotta chase it down with something smooth. You know?
Yes, but you're not gonna have a nice dinner and then f***ing eat for dessert. You know what
I guess you can say I went too hard too fast, or
All
too
right.
light too fast.
Too light, too fast, dude. No, well,
So,
1.1 means like you think it's such a disgusting beer, but if there's nothing else like that, and you still want to drink, like you have no choice, and that's the only beer you're gonna drink.
Okay, how about this? The way I'll explain it is I'm invited to a picnic pre-COVID, right? And I forgot to bring the
You're
chips
back.
or whatever it was I needed to bring.
Yeah.
And I stopped at the local little hole-in-the-wall convenience store. I'm going to pick up a case of Tecate Light. So what is that, like a 1.6?
Nah, it would be
1.5,
1.3
I
at
guess.
best. 1.3 at best. Maybe a 1.25.
Okay, well,
Okay.
no, but we're forgetting. Do you like the label? Do you think the label's cool?
Oh,
Or you
that's
think
right,
the
that's right,
label
that's right.
sucks?
That's right. You're right. Thank you. I do like the label. It's got a nice balance.
Yeah, I think that's cool, dude.
Got a good
It
balance.
looks like
The
Shield's label. But it's all
traditional.
good. I don't
There's
know if
an
y'all know
eagle
who
on
Shield
there.
is. All right, never mind.
I would
Shield.
go with a 1.25 at best.
1.25.
Yeah, I will keep your score at 1.1. There it is.
Well,
Yeah.
can I take it back and give
Why
it
not?
a?
Worm does it all the time.
Yeah, George is a hypocrite, bro. He would criticize me for doing that, and then he did a whole little segment of him doing it. A hypocrite, dude.
Take it back. 1.25. I'll accept it. It sounds a little more reasonable. A lot
Okay.
more reasonable than 1.91 that you gave.
Oh my god.
All right, Worm says, what are you
Yeah,
drinking?
but no, that was funny, bro. 1.9 and 1.1. I wait. Shit. I think you gave it a 1.2, Steve. Is that your
Yeah,
retraction?
1.25.
Okay, well, I guess I kind of dozed off when George was explaining some stuff though. But I mean, the alcohol content, I know it's low, but it's a good price, don't you think?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, that's right.
It's a good
I didn't
price.
talk
It's a
about
good
the price.
label. It's something that you intentionally buy. I think it deserves at least a 1.5. Because to me, a 1.2 is like still like someone else bought it. I'm gonna drink it. I mean,
Well, that's my thing. Like I said, like my little story there. Like I'm in a rush. I look through the aisles
Okay.
and I see it there. I'm like, okay.
oh, it's something you're familiar with. Okay.
And
I
the
mean,
little hole in the wall tienditas have them, you know.
yeah, that's true. Okay, all right, I guess so.
Here's what I would say. Tecate Light is actually one of my favorites to drink, but also it's like one of those choices. Like if I'm gonna go to a tailgate and I'm gonna be there for hours, then it's probably my go-to because I don't want to feel like too heavy, and also I don't want to like go too hard too fast where I don't even remember the football game. So like that's something like I would enjoy for a long period of time. All right, so Shiner.
Gorgeous turn.
Why are you hating on me, dude?
Nah, I'm just joking, bro.
All right, so Shiner, dude, I saw this. I had to get it.
Oh, dude, I was so close in getting it. I wish I did. We could have tried it together, bro.
Ooh, I want to do things with you together.
Right?
How do you say?
I want
How
to
do you
taste
say
things
it?
with you together.
Why we
How do you
say what?
say? How do you say, George?
I say pecan, or is it pecan? Pecan?
I don't know. You tell me.
We've
Ooh,
had it.
hey, we could get into that too, bro. The difference.
We've had this
I call it
discussion before.
pecan. What do you call it, Steve?
Pecan.
Pecan.
Pecan. Pecan.
Pecan. Pecan.
Pecan. Pecan. I'm gonna drink
Pecan
some
pie.
pecan beer. Pecan. Shiner, what do you say, Shiner? Pecan? Pecan.
Sheener.
Nueces.
All right, open it, bro. Hurry up, bro. You're boring, Steve.
Oh my god.
So, Steve, how was your day? Huh? Did you have a good day?
It was great.
All right,
Yeah.
for you, Steve. Clean the bottle.
You finished it?
Yeah, dude, that's what I do. You guys were too busy, like Trying to.
Dang.
Honestly, I had one of these on Wednesday before this podcast. These are freaking good, man. They're
I
really
can
good.
tell.
It's sweet and you can taste like that pecan flavor. And it's actually a 6.0% alcohol.
Wow. Man,
For a shiner, that's pretty good. You get a 6-pack for about $9. A good price,
Okay.
typical shiner price. It's a
Yeah.
twist off, so you don't need to pop it off. Label is cool.
Like
I'm gonna give it a 1.81.
Dang.
That's
dude.
probably the highest I've gone
Dang.
in a long time.
Wow.
That's wild.
1.81. No, 1.81. It's really freaking good. Like seriously, I would buy this every chance I can. Like they should not make it seasonal. They should just keep it out all year long.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Man, you know what
Hey, I haven't
seasonal
even
beer I
tried
love?
it yet.
You ever had a Shiner Cheer?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
it's a little
comes
bit
out in the
lighter,
summers
right?
usually. No.
The which
Yeah,
one? No, the Cheer, the Christmas one, the one that comes out in the winter.
The cheer.
Cheer.
Yeah, no, I get it. Yeah, I forgot about it, but yeah, we did a review on that for Christmas.
The only shiner beer I don't like is the Ruby. Sorry.
Yes.
Sorry for people out.
I don't like the Ruby.
I think
I don't know.
Yeah, I think I've had it once.
I don't know if I've met anybody that likes the Ruby, actually. Steve, are you that guy?
Which guy?
Quit
That likes
checking
the
your
Ruby?
phone,
No.
dude. Quit checking your phone. You're on too hard, too fast. No, I'm just kidding. No, the Ruby, the Shiner Ruby.
I haven't. You know what? I have had it, but I don't think. I mean, I guess it wasn't as. It wasn't full body, smooth body, no body. It was just. It was no good.
No
No bueno.
So, Steve, let's get into it, bro. I want to know your full
All right.
story, bro. Where were you born? Where were you raised? Where'd you go to school? What was your experience? So, obviously, my experience growing up in El Paso was different from yours growing up in San Antonio. And actually, I have a lot of questions regarding that. You know what I mean? Because I think, me going to San Antonio, it's a different culture. You know what I mean? So I want to hear your perspective about it, bro.
Yeah. So, born and raised San Antonio. My family's lived in like the west side of San Antonio now for about 3 generations.
El Hueso?
You know it, yeah.
Yeah.
Here, that's what a lot of the neighborhood folks kind of call it. And
Do you know the story behind that, or not so much?
no, I don't know the story behind it. I just know some people call it El Hueso.
Hueso. Even
But,
your parents too? Like they've
yeah.
always called that too?
No, I mean they call it just the west side or the neighborhood, you know. And so, I mean, I guess like I didn't really realize like how I guess meaningful or how proud of a community it was, right? Until actually I attended Our Lady of the Lake, right, for undergrad, and it's
1.81.
Cállate,
I'm
güey.
just kidding. I'm sorry.
Talking about El Hueso, show some respect,
That's right.
bro. George knows about El Hueso.
El Hueso.
And so the west side is the community, right, that surrounds Our Lady of the Lake, and it's just been a meaningful place to me, right? And so born and raised San Antonio, went to school here for undergrad.
School? We always ask.
Our Lady of the Lake University.
Bro.
High school,
clearly,
bro. High school.
Clearly, you haven't seen our podcast enough.
I have seen
Anybody
it.
that we interview.
You look like a Jefferson person.
Oh my God.
Jefferson.
No, I went to.
That's the only high school I know.
No, you know where you look like a
A
Jefferson.
Fronchi.
You look like a Jefferson. I was gonna say the same one. That's the only one.
You were gonna say Fronchi?
I was gonna say Jefferson too. I was gonna say.
Jefferson. Well, that's the only high school I know. Oh, well, that's on the west side. That's up on Couples, isn't it? So.
No, I went to Holy Cross of San Antonio, and
Yeah.
See, this is why we ask anybody that we interview that's from San Antonio. We always ask what high school you went to because we've learned that that's how people like communicate here in San Antonio. It's like, hey, you're from San Antonio. What high school did you go to? Oh, that one.
Well, we do it in El Paso too. You know what I mean?
I think everybody does.
You
But
know,
since we're like,
Well, except for Eagle Pass, I only have two of them.
yeah.
Are you from this one or
when
this
I was
one?
there, when I was there, it was one just split into two.
Oh
campuses.
my god!
you know what's funny? I've always heard like El Paso people like that. That's like the first question. Like when I introduce
yeah.
like two people from El Paso that know each other, like that's their standard question. You know,
Oh,
it doesn't
yeah.
matter if both of them have PhDs or whatever, or have just done random
Hell
stuff.
no.
They always ask, what high school did you go to?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
And that's how they gauged if they were going to be friends or not.
Yeah,
Yeah,
dude,
I don't know.
and it gets me
that's so
mad
funny.
because everyone always gets disappointed when I tell them my high school, and I'm proud of it, dude. I'm a conquistador, dude. I'm from Del Valle, and they're all like, "Oh, like as if it's so ghetto." Oh, get out of here, dude.
What's
proud
that
of
one
Del Valle.
school that we said that we were going to start a whole revolution against or whatever?
Oh,
We
Isleta.
should change their names. Change their name.
In El Paso?
Yeah. It
Isleta
was like
Indians?
a few podcasts ago. I think with Edwin or somebody. I think
Why?
in Edwin's podcast. There was a name, like it was a name that could be taken offensive, and we were just like, change the name.
Dang, I don't remember.
Oh, well, it doesn't matter.
Thank-
This is
thank-
Steve's podcast. Quit ruining, quit
I know,
derailing.
dude. Freaking George keeps mentioning Edwin, dude. Get away from Edwin, bro. God, we're talking about Steve here.
I think you're just gonna have to invite Edwin back with me when we do the michelada.
Oh,
Preview.
there you go. That sounds like a good idea, dude.
1.81. Which, by the way, I will say this: Edwin brought a chelada to a Modelo chelada. That one was like a 3.2. That guy didn't get drunk with us. I think we just got drunk by ourselves. I
Anyway,
appreciate the
Steve, I
therapy you're
apologize for George. Continue, bro. Holy cross, bro. I got. Well, yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. So so from there, born and raised West Side, went to Holy Cross, San Antonio, and decided to.
What's the experience to going to a religious high school or not? Is that what it's called?
Well, it's a private Catholic high school. Private and parochial, right? Is what I guess the classified in.
All boys and girls?
No, so yeah, mine was co-ed. So I went.
COVID?
Not COVID, co-ed.
Dangerous.
Oh, co-ed. Okay. I was gonna say
so-
YouTube's gonna push us down and Spotify and all that. Then if we mention COVID too many times, you only got 2 more times you can say it.
COVID. Go ahead, Steve.
We're done. This is gonna get no views. I'm just kidding, Steve. Sorry. It's Thursday. You know how we do.
That's okay. And so it was a good experience. I don't know, I really enjoyed my high school experience. That's where I kind of started falling in love with the idea of community, right? And just kind of what it means to be a part of a community. And so
Was it that funny?
just good.
I'm sorry, Steve.
It was like one of those jokes that the throwaway jokes but it just fits so perfect. All right. Okay.
No, that's good. The community, though. That's good.
Yeah. It's a community. And so, man, now people are gonna think I'm making fun of the community.
No, we're not. Worm is.
I am, dude.
No, and so also all honesty, I really enjoyed my time there. And then so when I was looking at universities, right, and I think I mentioned in the on Tuesday there that I'm a first generation, going to pursuing a 4-year degree, and one of my decisions to pursue a higher education was honestly just because my friends from high school were going to college, that was the big thing. And so it just was understood, right? I got to go somewhere. And Our Lady of the Lake gave me the best financial aid package out of the other universities that I applied to. And then second, it was close by to my grandmother's house, to where if something would happen, I was able to I'll be close by to help out, right? And luckily it was only 2 instances where she needed my help for something, right?
Nice.
And so, go ahead.
Okay, before you move on, sorry. So, I guess how did you go about, or who decided to take it to a private high school? Because usually people they think, man, it's really expensive. Is it even worth it? I guess how did that happen? And did your family struggle a lot to get you through that, or you guys
Yeah,
just were able to manage?
and that's a good point, right? And so, there's a perception, right, that people go to private high school, private education, right?
Yeah,
That
man.
there's a privilege, and it is a privilege. It is a privilege, right, to go, because both my parents worked. They didn't buy a new car for a good while, and honestly, I was blessed and lucky that my parents were, like they kind of trusted me and my brother to make a lot of decisions like for ourselves, right? And so like my brother had the option to go to private school and he chose to go to public school, the public route. But between the two of us, like he really is just like he's just really sharp, graduated top 10, he actually went to Jefferson.
Oh, there you go. Is
Yeah,
that where
yeah.
you would have gone?
I actually would have gone to Fox Tech.
Oh,
at
isn't
the
that where
time,
the
'cause
Castro brothers went to?
No, so actually the Castro brothers went to Jefferson.
Oh, really? Dang,
Yeah,
I thought Fox.
Yeah. But yeah, that's my parents were like, no, we're just going to we want to send you to private school, because, and I'm not even Catholic, right? They sent me to private school because it was one of the best educational options available to me, right?
Wow, and it's there on the west side too, right? Holy
It is on the west side, yeah.
Wow,
It is
that's
on the
awesome.
west side, and that school itself, like Holy Cross San Antonio, is a college preparatory institution. Their goal is to kind of prepare students, for college, but also instill in them some morals and some guidelines to kind of just be good citizens, really.
So what you're saying is that you took a proper Catholic's opportunity to go to a Catholic high school while you are not Catholic.
Yeah.
So like,
Are you
let's see
Catholic
how.
now?
No, I'm not. I'm not. I'm not Catholic now.
I'm kidding. It doesn't matter.
Hell's wrong with you? That's like you can cut that out.
All right, guys, that is it for part 2. We have no idea who we're bringing on this podcast anymore. I'm kidding. And for that reason, you're not in the fraternity anymore. No, I'm kidding. But you had to study. You had to take Catholic classes.
Yeah, I had to take.
Was there a struggle with that, or you were just like, that's a class, no, I'll do it, the work?
No, I just treated it. Because I went to, a Catholic elementary and middle school also, and so,
wow.
A lot of those foundational things that I learned and stuff, I just felt like it was just adding on to it, and if anything, the kind of the theology classes, right? It's what it was called, which would take place, I guess, of like an elective class at a public school, were like based on Catholic social teaching, right? And so it was really kind of like, yes, while it is rooted in Catholicism, it's a lot of philosophical, theoretical, foundations that kind of bring, kind of show the value and the just like how important it is to just treat people with respect. In a nutshell, without getting too academic or sounding too theoretical, it just all boils down to treating people with respect and treating people the way you want to be treated.
Did you have to do any kind of service work while you were there?
Yeah, I did a lot of community service. It was really cool, we would partner a lot with I think Catholic charities, and we would do like a canned food drive, things like that, or we do like a service project. We'd have to do a certain amount of service hours, required service hours at the school, not at the school, but off campus, So, and actually, that's kind of one of the reasons why I joined the fraternity. When I enrolled at Our Lady of the Lake, was that the fact there was a service component to it.
Nice.
I enjoy doing that.
Nice. Yeah, it was fun doing that.
Yeah, hey, bro. So, and I mean this seriously. Like, I do see a lot of success coming your way and stuff. And usually, a lot of successful people, their parents usually had enrolled. Sometimes they don't, but it seems obvious that your parents really valued education. Is there a reason why? Were they born in San Antonio, or You know, were they from
Yeah.
Mexico and they came here and they just knew, man, education was a good way, I guess, towards the American dream, or just for success, or why did they value it so much?
Yeah, so I guess, I mean, really, it was a family member, right, that went to another. So, like, I said, I did went to elementary and middle school, right, to Catholic school,
Mm.
and that person in the family had a really good, experience, and like she was very successful, and and said that that would be a good fit for me, right? That elementary middle school, it's called St. John Bosco, also on the west side, and they're actually I really kind of credit my like some of my foundational understandings of empathy, because there were these nuns, these Salesian sisters, right? They kind of taught, like what it meant to be, a good person, really kind of valuing love and respect, those kinds of things, right? And so at the time when you're a kid, right, you're just like, okay, whatever. But I mean, you're memorizing this stuff, right? Because they're testing you on this, So
Yeah.
like I know I can recite a lot of these things, But no, my parents were, they felt that it was just like a really cool community to be a part of, education-wise, and just felt like it was just the best thing for me. And they saw it more as an investment, for myself. And they've also recognized, like, their upbringing, where they went to school and they felt like they got an education. My mom, she has an associate's degree. She decided to pursue early child care development. And even though my dad didn't go to college, he did multiple trades, went to trade school and whatnot, learned a lot of different things. So to this day, like, my dad's always reading. He's always reading something new and always, kind of learning new things and whatnot. And so it's just kind of like both of them just really like enjoy learning different things kind of all the time, just like to know things.
Nice. Or were they both born in San Antonio?
Yeah, they were both born in San Antonio. My like grandparents, like on my dad's side, my grandmother, she did like, only went up to the 6th grade, did migrant work, working in the fields. And so like, that was her story. And then my mom's, my mom's parents, they immigrated from Mexico, in the early 1930s and whatnot. And
Oh, damn.
so like,
Ooh,
like I
during
said,
the
it's
Great
just,
Depression. Shoot.
no, actually, I'm sorry. It was like the 1940s, right? So like, I know, right? I'm like over
Big
here.
difference.
Towards the tail end. Still.
And so, yeah, they immigrated here in the 1940s. My grandpa and grandma, with my my aunt and uncle, right? My mom's older siblings, and so my mom was born here in the U.S. And so, yeah, man, like I said, we're third generation. I'm third generation, kind of living in the neighborhood still, and
Nice.
and when I talk about community, right, I kind of got really into it, right, when after I graduated from Our Lady of the Lake, I decided to apply to UTSA's Master's in Public Administration program, and I studied economic development. That's right. And I started looking at the West Side, right, as a place to kind of study and whatnot, and see like what are the projects that were here. And that's right, birds up. Yeah. So anyway, like I said, I was doing my research, economic development and whatnot, and one of the things I looked at historically, right, and this is actually I don't want to bore everybody, whatever, but it's an interesting fact of how like
Don't worry, we don't want you to bore anybody either.
We'll cut it off.
We'll cut it out. All you're gonna have is my UTSA story.
Thumbs out.
Actually,
Thumbs
believe it or
out,
not,
thumbs
bro,
out.
this is a fact. Actually, if you would watch our podcast, you would know. Actually, when we leave you uninterrupted, that means that we're actually intrigued.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, thanks.
So all those other times
Hopefully
we
our
interrupted you.
audience is too,
Nah,
but we are.
yeah, no, I'm just joking. No, but go on, bro. This is good stuff.
Yeah,
bro.
yeah. So like one thing I found and that I remember right from my master's was like the like during like segregation, right? And like how certain communities, like say this community only had the Mexican Americans, this community only had, Lebanese Americans, and this community only had African Americans. Like you would have a mix, right, of professionals, all different types, right? So like you can have a police officer being a neighbor to a teacher, being a neighbor to a doctor or whatever, and because that's the only community where they could buy property, you know. And so like you had examples of folks, you know, like that. Oh, okay, well I can, you know, Mr. So and so's a doctor, or Mr. So and so's, you know, a lawyer, you know, or something like that. You see those examples and stuff. And so I was like, you know what, I'm gonna live in the West Side too, you know, and I'm gonna you know, kind of be an example. And if you look at my house, I have like 4 different like universities, like just kind of garden signs there. And
awesome.
You know, I've been thinking about like buying a yard sign that says, you know, ask me any questions about you know, college, what you think about it, and
that's
how
awesome.
you
Like
gonna pay for it.
You're like College Cafe.
Yeah, I know.
You're the West Side College Cafe.
That's what I want to be, you know. What were you saying, George?
Sorry, I was like, are you saying like you're inviting people to just come and knock at your house and ask about it, or what?
I haven't thought about it all the way through, but like my point is like, you know, when I get home from work, I wave to my neighbors, you know.
Awesome, bro.
They kind of, you know, they all know me, and it's a real cool, you know, it's a barrio, you know, and like.
Good morning, and in case I don't see you, good evening and good night.
No, instead I get comments like when I'm working on something outside, I'll get comments like "Yamero, Yamero," you know, like if I'm almost done, or they're judging me how I'm getting stuff done.
You have your doctorate degree, Yamero.
No, bro. They're judging me about how straight my fence is that I'm making, or
really?
whatever I'm building in my front yard.
Yeah, dude. Just pay them, dude. They could probably do it faster.
Yeah, they really are good at what they do, you know.
But I mean, that's great, bro. So you don't want to leave your community, because a lot of times, I guess, people see it as, oh, I'm finally getting out, right? And that they're going somewhere better. But you want to stay, and you want to help develop and keep improving your environment or the community you came from.
Yeah, and at the same time, like, you know, I think like I don't think I'll live here forever, right? In this community, at this house. But while I'm, you know, working at the university, is very close by. It's really become like something I enjoy. You know, I really enjoy kind of, you know, being in the community, or like when I walk my dogs or whatever. And I have to be careful, right? Because there's always a bunch of dogs, kind of street dogs roaming around. You know, it just feels like, you know, it feels at home. You know, and like, you know, before COVID, I would drive to Austin for class. I would feel that there was, I don't know, just like you could tell the difference, right, from like San Antonio and Austin. Kind of there's this vibe. I don't know the last time y'all been to Austin, but it's just a whole different kind of vibe that you're when you're in Austin and whatnot.
It's a hipster vibe, or what?
I don't know what you want to call it. You know, I like both places, right? I like both places, but
I think in Austin I feel more comfortable just being like weird. Then that's not even like a thing on Austin. Like, I don't know. It sounds like a cop out. Like, oh, keep Austin weird. More like you're free to just be, like, just express, like, or just be you. Like, there's like such a free vibe. That's what I feel. And Austin is just a free vibe, except if you're in traffic. There's nothing free about that.
Oh my gosh, no, jeez.
But in San Antonio, it's like you can be relaxed, but it's not the same like freeness. It's like a different kind of, I don't know.
I feel like there's more like cultural expectations, like from me. You know, in my case, in my experience, I feel like there's more expectations of me from people that don't even know me, right? But just because that I'm a Hispanic man or Latino, whatever you want to call me, you know, there's an expectation of how I'm supposed to react or act or something when I'm around certain people or certain situations, right?
So when I'm in Austin, in San Antonio, you would have to be more Hispanic?
I'm saying in San Antonio, like there's an expectation of like maybe a little bit more conservative, you know, dressing or like depending on where I'm at or expectation of like being more family centric. You know, I don't know. I'm just gonna give you some examples just off the cuff here. But like in Austin, I think maybe because also Austin's just really a place for young people now. It's kind of changing, right? It's really a lot of young professionals that are kind of, you know, the whole flight to Austin right now with all those different tech companies that are popping up, and it kind of you know, it's just happening real fast. It's happening real fast, and unfortunately, there's a lot of people of color that are kind of suffering from it too, especially like in East Austin or people being displaced, and the cost of living is only increasing, you know. So
Yeah.
That's
Hey, bro. So you would drive? I mean, what's that? Like an hour and a half from San Antonio? How often would you go to Austin? Because I'm like, damn, that's a lot.
yeah,
Of
so when I was applying, you know, to programs or whatnot, I wanted to do an in-person, doctoral program that, wasn't like a traditional PhD, right? So I'm not getting a PhD, I'm getting an EDD, in higher education leadership.
which
from
is like a
UT Austin.
practitioner thing, though, right? But you'll
Yeah.
still be a doctor, though.
That's right. It's still a doctoral program, still going to be the title of doctor, but I wanted more of a practitioner-based, program rather than a research-based program. And they both have their pros and cons, right? But I wanted to kind of study, higher education leadership, and so UT Austin being flagship university of the state and whatnot, and that's kind of what I chose, and that they had an in-person program, right? So like my president, the university president, so like so the whole reason why I wanted to get a doctorate to begin with was, I was on a call for work, right? And I'm a fundraiser. I do major gifts fundraising for Our Lady Lake University, and I was on.
I haven't gotten any major gifts, by the way.
Well, I'm here. I'm a guest here, so that's considered a major gift. So.
Well, we'll see how well this performs.
Yeah. Sure. Do we have to donate now? Did you only come here to ask us to donate?
I know. I just came
As
here
alumni.
to prove. I came.
Do
I
it
came
live. Give me your credit card now.
I came to here to prove that George is still alive, no matter what he says on the Teleton.
I know, George. We lost your contact information. Can you give me an updated email?
Anyway,
so yeah. So I was on a call with the president, and she's really great. She's really great. Really great leader, and most people don't know that the primary job now for a university president is to be like the chief fundraiser of the institution, and so I was with her on a visit to visit with a donor, and we were just kind of talking, and she kind of said, hey, Steve, I don't know if you thought about what your plans are in your career, but I don't know if you've ever thought about getting your doctorate. I can see you being like a university president someday, and you have some of those qualities, that I think, are necessary for that position. And so I was like, oh, okay. I felt that was like one of the coolest things anybody's ever said to me. And so, in my head too, I'm thinking, you know what? Like, I don't know if I want to get a doctorate right now. I'm kind of like, kind of enjoying what I'm doing. I think I want to go back to work in government relations or something, right? And so, I'm going to apply to the hardest program I can find. And if I don't get in, so I don't get in, and, but at least she'll know like that, hey, I tried, And so I ended up getting in. And so.
You're a damn.
I guess
that wasn't supposed to happen.
And so like, I always put my best foot forward, right? Because I thought it through, right? Like there was a part that I was interested in, right?
What's that interest part? Like, is it just the funding, the like fundraising, or is
well,
it
so
more
like I'm interested. So my program, right? Like I think I mentioned. So it's the University of Texas through the College of Education.
Yes, you said it.
Yeah, but no, do your Longhorn thing. Do your Longhorn thing right here, bro.
You're better than us. You're better than us. I get it.
Welcome horns, bro. We get it.
But it's like it's through the higher education, leadership, and policy. And the program's different from the other ones that I looked up because it's rooted in equity and social justice, And so I was like, oh, okay, this is different. And so, like my whole reason, like what, I raise money, right? But I just can't work anywhere and raise money for any nonprofit or any institution. It has to be something that I can really kind of get behind its mission, get behind its, the people they serve. And so I found out that, what it was really is the fact that it's a Hispanic Serving Institution. And so that ended up becoming like really my passion for my research, which is kind of learning and understanding the experiences of Latinx development officers or Hispanic, whatever you want to call it, and how they raise money for Hispanic serving institutions. And so I'm a, Latino, Latinx, Hispanic, whatever you want to call me.
Puro raza, bro. It's good.
And, I raise money for an HSI. And I find it super important, that these institutions continue to kind of grow because they really do serve a large percentage of the Latino population. I think the last I saw, it was like some kind of study I was using right for my research on, because a good amount of HSIs are community colleges. I think 46% of the degrees, either 46 or 64% of the degrees that were granted back in like 2014 were from Hispanic Serving Institutions, community colleges,
Okay. That's
and so
huge.
like it's just a huge population that's educating a lot of Hispanic, Latino folks, and it's such a big need because the population's only growing, right? We're already the largest minority group in the U.S. and I think by like 2034 we're going to become the majority. And so these institutions like Our Lady of the Lake, they're different, right, from some of the other like institutions because they really put a focus in and understand kind of like the cultural idioms, the religious aspect, the expectations, right, of the students. A lot of our, like, for example, our students, they'll come in with a large need for financial aid. A lot of them will be first generation. A lot of them will have expectations, right, of like having to work and maybe send money back home. All while still balancing and maneuvering college, right? Because it's kind of hard, if you haven't figured it out, if you don't have friends that maybe figured it out that are older, like, oh, hey, you need to fill out your FAFSA like every single year. You need to renew that every year, or you need to make sure your grades are good. You can't go below a certain percent because you're going to lose grants and you're not going to be able to come back next year. Those are some things that you don't really know until like it happens to someone or it happens to you. The next thing you know, oh wow, like no one told me anything, right? Those are kind of like those extra steps, like a Hispanic Serving Institution. Not saying other universities don't do that, but they kind of understand like, okay, these are a lot of our students. A lot of our students are facing these challenges, and we need to do something about it. We need to be proactive rather than reactive. So
your whole
before we go any further, every time you say whatever you want to call me, I want to call you a lightly coated leche quemada.
Oh, okay. Leche quemada.
Leche quemada. Lightly. I will be more on the burn side. You're a little more lightly.
Oh, okay.
But let's move forward. I just wanted to say that every time you say it.
quemado or what?
Well, dude, you like you're the one that fell from the tray onto like the bottom of the oven and just like melted into the oven, and so now it's stuck there forever. And you have to like scrape it off, but it's not really coming off.
Ni modo.
That's where you're at right now, dude.
Ni modo,
But it's
Steve,
okay.
Can you help people from the bottom like me, bro? Can you?
Oh man.
No? All right, then whatever. Anyways, bro. Anyway, so HSI and all that. So that's your focus, though, in your doctoral program, though, right?
Yeah, how the Latino community, or just kind of like people of color, kind of the cultural issues or the different types of roadblocks they kind of face in like student success, which is one big piece, right? That's always looking for funding. And so like student success being, for people that maybe aren't familiar with like higher ed terminology, like just being like, tutoring, a writing center, extra help for maybe students that like a food pantry is now considered part of like student success. It's kind of being debated right now, like having a university having a food pantry at a university, right, is really important because a lot of students, when they'll take these surveys, they'll kind of report like, how confident are you that you're going to have a meal like tomorrow, like a hot meal or a meal that's not like ramen, something that's going to be nutritional.
That is good because I know when we were in school, a lot of people ran out of their meals, like their meal plan.
They ran out of their meal plan, yeah.
Way before the semester, and they were like, "What do we do now?" Like, and I tell a lot of people, I used to go to like talks and meetings that they were serving food just because I ran. I was like, I don't at the
Yeah.
time like probably I don't care about what they're talking about or what they're promoting or anything.
That's how we got
but they
so
have
involved.
food.
Holy
Yeah,
shit.
yeah, probably. Like, well, I just want to go because they're providing food, so I'll go listen to your spiel, but because I need to eat.
Yeah,
Yeah, and right, and we're laughing about it, right? But at the same time, if you look up what that is, that's food insecurity. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
that, students really are like don't know where they're gonna get their next meal.
I
You
thought I
know,
was just being savvy, but I guess yeah, that's true. Like,
Yeah,
it's called,
well, it's funny, but
called
to us, that
surviving.
was just like, oh yeah, that's us being savvy, that's us navigating, not even realizing that that really is an issue. Well, especially, I mean, I was first. I think were we all first generation? I think we're all first generation and
Yeah,
all that stuff, right? So I mean, I guess we all went through that and not knowing shit, this is a big issue. But actually, you kind of bring up a good point with the whole food pantry because one big thing, at least here in West, I'm sure everywhere. Um, there's a lot of students. No, with the whole COVID thing, a lot of students, elementary, middle school through high school, all that, they would rely on. They had free meals, you know what I mean, or reduced lunches and stuff like that.
yeah,
And
yeah.
so the school districts had pass out food or open up their schools so they could get food. But then it's funny once you get to college and your first generation, all right, you're on your own. Good luck.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's funny and we don't realize that, but
No, you're absolutely right.
besides the whole, the food pantry and things like that, is there any like conversations about looking into like mental health also for these students?
Yeah, no, yeah, absolutely. And so, I know right now, I can speak for like, Our Lady Lake and for, UT as a student, right, from UT. But I know there's been like an increased amount of awareness for students to seek out counseling services. It's really like, excuse me, it's really important for students to kind of know, right, that to know that they have these counseling services available to them, especially just because, like, I mean, people are in isolation, they're at home and they're not trying to go out anywhere. And I remember, like, early on in the pandemic, just kind of like just laying down and thinking, man, like this can happen, this can happen, this can happen. And, and I go back to like cultural expectations and stigmas, but like, counseling, right? The word counseling in itself or seeking counseling was like a big stigma. And, like I myself, like I went to seek counseling for, there at UT, right? As part of my, tuition and whatnot. And, it was one of the best things I could have done for myself. It's one of those things that, I really encourage people, and especially young men of color or Latinos or whoever,
Leche quemadas.
Leche quemadas, that's right. I'm going to put that in my research, right? I am now going to refer to the Hispanic, Latinx, Latino community as leche quemadas,
There you go.
But yeah, man, it's such a big need right now, and I think there was funds that were kind of pumped into that. To have more access, for students to kind of reach out, because now you can do it virtually, right? There was all these new policies that were written up that now you can have a counseling session virtually, and you can access more students. You can reach more students that way, or more people that way.
And you probably feel, I guess, if somebody's like feeling ashamed or scared or feeling that they're gonna get judged, like you can stay in the comfort of your own place and just Zoom or whatever they're using. I feel like that. I would probably.
Well, let me tell you my issue very quick. Okay, so first, I probably should get counseling.
Your issue. I'm gonna go for a break.
Right. I probably should get counseling, but then what makes me hesitate is I feel like, well, because you're right. Well, not necessarily the stigma, but like, oh, do I? And I don't know. I kind of grew up in this family where like, just suck it up or just get through it or whatever. So then I don't see counseling because I feel like, well, I'm not going through a mental breakdown. My life is fine. I really don't need it for people who are going through some hard times.
Mm-hmm.
But because I'm not going through some hard times, I feel like, well, that's not for me.
I thought the same thing too, right? It's one of those things like, well, I'll seek counseling like once, like I need it or whatever, right?
Yeah.
The thing is, I guess, and this may be more societal, right? That we need to be, once I'm sick or something, right? I need to take care of it. Like, where is the proactive approach to things, right? Just like, I know like our good buddy, Dr. Serrano, his big thing is that he provides preventative
Therapy.
preventative services, right? So that way you don't get hurt, you know? So like, that's what I liked about understanding like counseling is like, is be good to yourself, you know, give yourself a break, right? You know, just meet with a counselor and like talk to the person, like, you know, just about, well, and they ask you like, what do you want to talk about? Well, I don't know. It's my first session, you know, I feel like I'm dealing with things pretty well right now and whatnot. And they can lead the conversation and where you want to talk
Then
about.
5 minutes later, I start crying.
Well, I mean, you could. You never know, dude. You never know. And there'd be nothing wrong
Can I
with
do it drunk? I'll probably be mad.
Oh my God.
That's probably the part
You're
of
gonna
the
be like,
This is my therapy. Hey, Steve, this is my therapy, bro.
This is why we started Too Hard Too Fast podcast.
It was for me. No, go on, bro. Go on.
but no, man, that's my thing now. Now I've becoming like, you know, just a big proponent, right, of just counseling in general. And
Yeah, no, that's good.
I know specifically in my community, you know, like West Side San Antonio, or even just many economically distressed communities, there's a large amount of depression. You know, I mean, if you think about it, it all correlates with, you know, with income. It all correlates with just kind of access to resources, you know, access to quality education, whatever, you know, however you define that. There's just a huge amount of depression, and that could also lead to domestic violence. It also leads to, you know, other issues and stuff. It's all interconnected. And so, anyway, I can talk about this stuff all day. You know, my whole thing was like, and that's why you know, I worked before this, you know, before working in fundraising, you know, I did work for like the last public entity was the district attorney's office, and I worked in community relations. And I just remember like, you know, going to different sentencings, and I remember this one particular sentencing to where I saw a guy who was like the same age as me being sentenced to like 30 years in jail because he killed his baby. You know, and it was like heavy stuff, right? I mean, it was I'm talking about, you know, I don't want to get I probably went too hard, too fast, right, in that particular subject matter. But
that's
reality.
It's real. It's reality, you know. And so I felt that, man, you know, like I guess I was kind of like, I went into the courtroom thinking, I've been to, you know, numerous courtroom hearings and stuff, and, you know, hearing different charges being laid out. But I remember I didn't expect to hear or see this like proud looking man, you know, get up and just see tears going down his face as he just witnessed his son being sentenced, you know, to essentially like, you know, this at the time 30 years was considered the life sentence for like child abuse cases. And I heard like the grandmother and the mother of the child just kind of burst into tears and crying, thanking God for the result that they wanted, you know. But I'm looking around, and it's just like, this is like too late. Right, it's too late to make an impact or a difference or to change trajectory in like this man's life who was just sentenced, right? And so I started thinking, you know, all these different things, and that's where I figured like education was the route that I wanted to kind of take to make an impact or make a change or be that person that extended a hand to kind of help someone. Hey, let me show you where the financial aid office is, or hey, you know what? When they tell you this, you need to say this, you know. Because they're not going to take you seriously if you don't say you've already done this, you know, stuff like that, right? That's not, you won't find it on the website, but you'll find that you'll discover that after talking to someone that, you know, has understandings of how to maneuver different things.
I want this podcast to be something that helps somebody, whether it's for a laugh or just to learn something new, or like, hey, I didn't know that. This is how you help me. And then eventually I do want to figure out how this podcast can be tied into, you know, building some kind of nonprofit or some kind of organization where, you know, it's an extension of that and we're helping the community. Like, I don't want to do something. I do want to, selfishly, I want to do this for the fun of like building a business of it. Like, you know, that's where my MBA comes. Like, I want to build a business of it. I love mixing in with people and figuring out how sponsorships and all that. Like, I get that. But I also want to help. I don't want this to just be for me, for Worm. I want this, how do we make this for somebody else?
Yeah.
I'm just here to drink.
this is Worm's therapy. So this is me helping Worm. No.
There you go.
So we're trying to figure out how we can expand to helping more people.
And getting drunk
like that.
along the way.
Steve, I think we can like dive into your brain and swim around for a long time. Do a couple like Michael Phelps laps into your brain, and you're always gonna have a lot of things to say. I wanna extend the invitation. You're welcome on the podcast anytime. I think there's more to talk about than we have talked about here. Like there's so much we can get into.
And one more question that's not related. Did you have any final thoughts regarding this topic, Steve?
No, man. I mean, I'm just appreciative that y'all were, interested enough to listen to me, or just kind of nice enough to listen to my rants.
Nah, bro, this is good stuff. Shoot.
Steve, I just wanted a drink. No.
Thank you for making me drink. Thanks for revealing problems. No, okay. Well, then.
Before Worm asks this question, when he does ask this question, I want you to answer this question with that cowboy hat on you.
Yeah, dude. I was thinking, man, you should have been wearing that. Go get it, bro.
Cowboy hat. The cowboy hat doesn't even fit me. It was one of my cousins from Mexico. I told him I liked his hat, right? And when he left, he gave me the hat, right? But when I put it on, it doesn't even like fit like around my head. I just,
Ni modo, bro.
I just keep
Don't mess with it. Don't mess with it.
Go get it.
If Worm knew about cowboy hats, he would say. All right. With that said, Steve, just give me a little hairdo. Do something since you can't wear that.
Oh, I just got a haircut today.
Nice.
Is it a home haircut?
No, I went to a barber, so that's why I've been coughing.
Oh.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
All right, tell me. Worm, ask that question
Steve?
everybody's been wondering about.
All right, Steve. What's your too hard, too fast story, bro? It was a time where you were just passed out drunk. I'm just like, it doesn't have to be passed out drunk. And it doesn't even have to be about you. Just give us a too hard, even about someone else. Whatever you feel comfortable saying. Something that won't hurt your chances of being president.
Man, too hard, too fast.
Yeah, too many, yeah.
Too hard, too fast, too many.
I'm thinking about a time where I was in Mexico with some friends. We were in Playa
That's
del
already
Carmen.
starting good.
We're in Playa del Carmen, and I remember it was our first night there, right?
Oh, nice. I like that.
At the time, right, I was really working on my budget, like I was, trying to really kind of adult, like really kind of feel like, okay, I'm having a good management. I got life insurance policies. I was, I was doing all the right things, and I was on a budget. And so we get to our Airbnb and stuff. We're going to go out the first night. We went out that first night. Each of us bought like 2 bottles of like, whiskey or bucanas or whatever it was that we bought. And I just remember like, that night was ridiculous. And like one of our
and I'll stop you right there. It was bucanas because anybody that parties in Mexico buys bucanas or Buchanans.
And I just remember like the next morning, like all this travesuras happened overnight, and then the next morning I was like, man, I'm not gonna have enough money to go to the cenotes, or which are like the underground caves. I'm not gonna have enough money to go to this club. I already blew through my budget for like 2 days, I just remember we went like we literally went too hard, too fast on that first night.
Hell yeah.
And actually, who it was? Dr. Serrano that covered my the fee or whatever to like do the cenotes trip. So like I was planning on staying that day, and he covered me, and I paid him back when we got back into San Antonio.
Dang, nice, bro. So did you have a chance to go see Chichen Itza or Tulum or any of those pyramids?
Yeah. Oh no, actually no. On that particular trip, we didn't go to Chichen Itza, but we did go to Tulum.
Okay.
I don't remember if it was that particular trip, but yeah, no, it was, because we stayed in Playa del Carmen, and then Tulum was like, I don't know, like a 30-minute drive from there.
It's like an hour, or maybe 40.
An hour or 30 minutes. Some of those, it wasn't too long, but it was just enough. Yeah.
All right. With that said, I think Dr. Edwin Serrano has gotten enough promotion from Steve's podcast.
I know.
Man,
Well, George
Thursday.
kept mentioning him.
We
I
did.
know.
I did.
He even
We
called
did,
me.
you
He
did.
even called me Edwin.
I know, right?
I did. But with that said, this is the end of part 2. Thanks for sticking around. We had a great time. College Stories, part 1. I was going to say Edwin again. Damn it.
Wow.
Hey.
Hey, you threw me off. This is on you. No. All right, this is the end of part 2. Thanks for sticking around. Part 1, we talked about college stories, how we met Steve. Now, what Steve is doing, palms out, Worm. Palms out. Palms out.
Thumbs up.
Now light him on fire. Light him on fire.
Show that clip
In
again.
part 2, we discuss what Steve is doing to better his community and to continue to support first generations, whether, you know what, Hispanic, Latinx, whatever you want to call yourself, leche quemadas, you know, and also anybody else, if you need to know about financial aid and the college experience, ask.
Email us. I'll answer any question.
Talk to us. But also ask somebody in your college. Somebody has to have the answer. Do not let somebody tell you college is not for you unless you know college is not for you. Just figure it out. College is where you can try it out. If you can make it, try it out. But with that said, Worm, what are you going to say?
My qualitative research says get yourself a damn education.
Get educated.
Leche quemado.
But also, with that said, Steve, what are you going to say?
I'm going to say,
That was perfect.
With that said, dare to be you, dare to be weird. Steve, thank you for spending this time with us. Hey, you're always welcome back.
Yeah, thank you,
thanks,
brother.
guys. Appreciate it. Thanks for having
Like
me
I
on.
said, there's a lot of menudo in there that we want to mess around with, and we want to bring it out of you. Where that sounds weird, I like it.
More of a pozole person.
Pozole. Okay, with that said, thanks, guys. Thanks, 2H2Fers. Bye.
Later.